How young is too young to break up over the future? I'm 19, female, dating my 18 male boyfriend of 7 months. He wants a family, to live close to his family. I don't want to have kids, and I want to move around a few years for work after graduation, and then likely settle down near my family, like 2 hours away from his family. Clearly these don't match up, and we tend to just never talk about future plans. Every now and again he will bring up like the future of having kids, and that whole idea just makes me uncomfortable. I've also been thinking, is this gonna work out? So I've started bringing up my desire to move around a lot a bit recently. I'm studying to become a biologist and want to do field work on the oceans, and we live in the Midwest. I'm thinking about getting a summer internship like 10 hours away, and he knows about that and is supportive. But I don't think he believes me when I say that's the type of stuff I want to do for the rest of my life, or at least for a few years. I don't know what to do, because we are young and maybe I'll change my mind and want kids someday, but I will feel bad if I can't give him that. Am I too young to know, and should we just focus on the present and not the future? But I also don't want to just be in a relationship just for fun. I want a promise of the future. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend wants kids and I don't, but we're only 19, so should we not make a decision about our relationship based on that? Honestly, you're never too young to break up over incompatibilities, which is what these are. And you are incredibly mature and self-aware for 19 to recognize this. I certainly couldn't when I was 19. As for kids, yes, you may change your mind, but I've known since I was a child that I didn't want kids, and 20 years later, that's still true. Speaking from personal experience, not everyone changes their mind. For your sake, I recommend acting under the assumption that you won't, even though of course you might. Never wanted kids, and at 21, I got with a guy who'd won. The relationship didn't work out for other reasons, but I look back and wish I had just ended the relationship before things got too involved instead of sticking around for nearly 3 years, knowing full well that I did not want anything to do with a child. You are so young and have excellent perspective for your age. Your gut is not wrong. The idea of breaking up early with someone you like over incompatibility may sound terrible, but breaking up with someone you love after years of quiet unhappiness/dissatisfaction due to those incompatibilities is infinitely worse, harder, and messier. My high school boyfriend and I broke up just because we wanted to go to different colleges, let alone anything in the future. Being young is when you're supposed to break up over the future. It sounds like you two have very different ideas of what the future looks like. It is not fair to either of you to hope that one will change their mind. You don't want years to go by and realize that you have wasted years with someone that does not feel the same way in terms of children and where to settle. If there is already discomfort when talking about the future, it will always be a problem in your relationship. I would have a real conversation with him. You shouldn't have to figure out those big decisions at such an early age. It just sounds like he wants you to settle down soon, and you have so much of the world you want to see first. You two are young and the plans you want could change, but they are too different. It should not be something you compromise on. You either want then or you don't. Not knowing is okay, but it can cause greater strain later on if you decide no, you don't want kids and he's still adamant about it. It sounds like this relationship likely won't last into the distant future. But you and your boyfriend are very young. That's not to say your dreams will change. I doubt they'll change enough to make a real difference. It's to say that there's a season for every person. This might be your season with him, if you enjoy his company and find that he's helpful in achieving your goals even if he doesn't share them. When are you and your boyfriend's plans going to diverge? Are you hoping to move in the next few months, or in several years? Does he want kids now, or in a decade? If this is a distant problem and you're enjoying yourself, then you have permission to continue enjoying yourself even if you know there's a time limit. If this is something that's beginning to extremely bother you or hold you back from what you really want, then you should leave. The fact that this relationship will eventually end is not itself a reason to end it. All relationships eventually end. But if the fact that it will end is becoming emotionally overwhelming or an impediment in your own trajectory, then end it. The choice you make will be completely understandable. I'm 22F, thinking about having the talk and ending things with my FWB, 24M. Advice needed. Almost a year ago, my FWB and I started hooking up after we both got out of relationships. We had both been really close friends for a few years before this entire dynamic started, kind of the cliche best friends to fuck buddies kind of situation. It started off just for hookups, but during the past 6 months we've been having more sleepovers, met his friends and family, and hanging out. He'll cook me meals and pay for everything, even if I offer to pay my end. It's complicated because we're both really good friends before all of this sex stuff. I normally thought I was good at separating emotions from physical stuff, but it has just fully hit me how much I've grown to really like him, want to date him, like him. However, I found out he was still talking / hooking up on and off with his ex up until a month or 2 ago. I don't care too much for a person's dirty laundry, but I feel disrespected since we both agreed to let each other know if we were sleeping with others, just for health reasons. So now I want to do one of two things. 1. Completely just end it, no discussion. Try to stop seeing him and just go back full time to the dating scene. 2. Tell him how I feel, that I've started to really like him but can't continue being FWB if I'm being played and not respected like that, and then stop seeing him. TL, Doctor hooking up with best friend / FWB for a year now. Want to end it because I caught feelings and found out he was hooking up with his ex a month or 2 ago. Any advice? Just tell him how you feel and go from there. This seems a little bit too complicated to just be a FWB situation TBH. Also depends on how you found out about him and his ex. It sounds like you heard it from a third party, so he was probably hiding it from you to avoid drama. The relationship route just doesn't seem worth it. I wouldn't date someone who didn't keep an agreement like that. It's up to you if you want to tell him why. If you were FWBs with the caveat that you stay open about other partners, why not just have a conversation about that? Don't go radio silent. You were friends before you were lovers. I wouldn't tell him how you feel either, since that goes against the FWB parameters too. Just find out why he was sleeping with someone else without telling you. That should open up the convo about ending your FWB relationship. I would do 1. He already lied to you when you guys agreed to tell each other about extra sex partners and he didn't. I wouldn't want to date him anymore. And telling him I caught feeling will give him something to blame your anger on. Or not angry because I had sex with person A, angry because you like me. You're not doing yourself any favors by not being honest with how you feel about the relationship, regardless of how dishonest he's being by sleeping with his ex. Tell him how you feel, so that you've got the closure you need. I don't know what to do. Things are not getting better between my boyfriend, M47, and I, F26. Please allow me to explain. We started dating when I had just turned 23, I was out of college and working as an assistant, and we met at my job. He was funny, charming, had never dated younger before, and definitely wasn't predatory or anything like that. In fact, I think I pursued him harder because of his apprehension, but we ended up having a lovely start to the relationship. As time went on, things started to deteriorate. He has an ailment that prohibits intimacy from being fully enjoyable or frequent, which has been extremely hard for us. I tried finding him doctors, but it is so rare and most don't understand or have proper treatments for it. Additionally, last year, pre-pandemic, I wanted a career change. It wasn't too major, but it did entail me enrolling in a program and quitting my full-time job. Not only was he unsupportive, but he belittled the field I want to work in to the point where I was embarrassed to discuss it around him. Our whole relationship, he's had a hairpin trigger with me, and I'll literally double-check everything I do to make sure it won't potentially upset him. Like washing berries and putting them in a bowl, making sure the faucet is on the correct setting he likes, not closing the washer door so that it can air out after a cycle, etc. He will yell at me, will swear, and I find myself scared of the potential vitriol headed my way if I accidentally slip up. I have currently been out of school due to the pandemic for 10 whole months. It's incredibly isolating, depressing, maddening, etc. As I'm sure many similar scenarios have been for others currently, and every day I look forward to rejoining the program and starting up life again. I tend to be incredibly optimistic, and he is the opposite. He's been in 2 major relationships before me, both ended badly. However, he still talks to his ex from his 20s daily. They're best friends. He doesn't want to be with her, he just wants the closeness of her without any actual responsibility of being in a relationship. They've known each other for like almost 25 years now. I hate this, but don't want to make him change this behavior for me. That's how you create resentment. And I understand having a best friend. I don't want to mess with their relationship at all. Last year, he got us a dog. The dog had behavioral issues, but I thought nothing of it, just something that required patience and care. He wanted to give the dog back. We broke up for a while because of our differing views. I ended up keeping the dog. He's my little baby and I love him more than anything. My question is, I don't know what to do. I love this man so much, my entire heart is full of love for him. I would, and do anything he asked, anything he wanted. I miss him when I'm not near him, I'm sad when he's sad. I want his happiness more than anything. But sadly I am coming to realize I don't think he respects or even likes me. I don't know what to do. Do I break up and move on? I cannot imagine a life where I don't see his face in the morning. He is everything to me. Please be kind. I am struggling so much. I know this post may be upsetting and I am already bracing myself for harsh words, but please try to be gentle with me. This is so hard. Too long didn't read. Can a relationship be saved if there is so much love, but only one person is trying? I once saw someone comment on a Reddit post saying how you feel about him is less important than how he treats you, and I think this advice applies here too. This is not a healthy relationship. He doesn't respect you and is displaying toxic behaviors which he seems to have no interest in changing. A relationship where you have to walk on eggshells to avoid the other person's angry outbursts isn't a relationship, it's a prison. This is going to be harsh, but look, we can see your post history. You're dicking around on Reddit trying to get someone to give you some special secret incantation that will turn your trash boyfriend into a decent human being who doesn't treat you like shit. It doesn't fucking exist. There is no magic potion you can slip into his coffee that will disable the fuckface lobe in his brain. Don't love him. You love some fantasy version of him. You love maybe what he initially was, what you think he could be if only you could fix him. But you are 26 years old, and you know better than to believe in childish fancies. Break up with him. You will be fine. You will be free. It will shock you how much weight will lift off your shoulders. Grow up. Stop being afraid of being alone. Break up with him. To answer your too long didn't read, simply, no. It takes 2 people who are both actively committed. I am a stranger who has no reason to lie to you, and I am telling you this straight out. A relationship where only one party is putting in the effort is 100% doomed, and you have no chance at real happiness together. There are no miracles, no long shots, no maybe I'll get lucky and our relationship will be saved by love alone. It's as concrete a law as gravity. You pour your heart into someone who doesn't reciprocate equals you are stuck with sadness and frustration that doesn't have an end point. If you stay with this guy, your future will consist of feeling afraid of his anger, confining your behaviors to avoid his angry outbursts, and hating his relationship with his ex. These things will never go away. The part of your heart that is hurt by it will never get eroded down enough for it to become painless. You know the answer here. Leave this relationship, give yourself time to breathe and grieve, and then open yourself to new possibilities. You deserve a relationship full of love with someone who treats you kindly, respects you as you are, and is just as invested as you. It's real and it's not too much to ask, it's the bare minimum. Don't starve yourself on this man's scraps any longer.